Hi, welcome to this episode of Janet Yong Bazi series. In today's episode, I'll be sharing a little bit more on Bazi from the business perspective. I have many clients who come to me to ask me, should they start a business? Are they suitable to start a business? In this particular episode, I'll be sharing more on this, as well as if you do decide to start a business, what kind of entrepreneur and what kind of business you'll be more interested in. Before we start, please do remember to click on the Janet Yong YouTube channel, click the notifications bell so that you will be notified when we have a new video uploaded. Thank you for taking your time, and let's begin the lesson proper. Now, before we begin, I think it's good for you to get ready your Bazi chart. And if you have not gotten your Bazi chart, you can actually go to this link here that I'm showing, bazicalculator.janetyong.com, or scan the QR code. I'll be inserting this link in the video description on the YouTube channel as well. So once you have actually gotten the chart, this is the first portion of the chart, which we call your natal Bazi chart, which actually has your year, your month, your day, and the hour of birth. Now, you will notice that basically there are these small letterings at each of these Chinese characters. Okay, these are what we call the heavenly stem. These are the earthly branches, and these are the hidden heavenly stems. Now, for each of your Bazi chart, what you need to identify in terms of wealth are basically the two elements, okay, which actually has got DW or IW. DW represents direct wealth or the director profile if you are using the Asian personality profiling system. Here in this Bazi chart, we see two, one in the heavenly stem of the year and the other one in the hidden stem of the hour. Now, what does it mean by direct wealth? Direct wealth characteristics from a director perspective is the ability to earn regular income. And they are usually more conservative, therefore they need regular income coming in on a consistent basis. And if you are looking at it from an orientation perspective, they are also more action-oriented. Because if you have an idea, you do not implement it, you may not necessarily see wealth, right? So let's take a look at another type of wealth, which is what we call the indirect wealth. Indirect wealth in the Asian personality profiling system, it's called the pioneer. Now, if you remember, pioneer has the characteristics of being more risk-taking, the willingness to start something new. So therefore, if you have the IW within your chart or the pioneer profile within your chart and it's of a heavier or stronger influence, therefore you'll likely be more willing to take risks. And let me ask you, which one do you think will be more willing to start a business? Yes, it's definitely the IW, the pioneer profile. So in this particular chart here, what we are seeing is this person actually has got both the direct wealth as well as the indirect wealth. Therefore, the characteristics of both the director as well as the pioneer. So if you remember from an orientation perspective, especially this person is born in the month, okay, which we will call a wealth structure of also the pioneer or indirect wealth structure. Therefore, they are usually a lot more willing to take risks. However, when we're looking at starting a business, it's not just necessarily the willingness to take risks. It is also building your skill sets so that you are able to manage your business well, and therefore you can grow the business well. Now, if you remember earlier on when I mentioned in a few of my other videos that the wealth structure is really the action orientation. So if you remember, I mentioned earlier on that someone who actually has got wealth structure is that of the action orientation. So when you look at action orientation, it means the impetus to act. Therefore, they are willing to take risks, especially if they are of the indirect wealth or pioneer profile. However, if you do not learn the skill sets of how to be a good entrepreneur, how to manage your P&L and how to manage your cash flow, you may want to start a business, but you may not necessarily become successful in business. So I think it is also crucial that one who actually has got the wealth profiles or wealth structure within your chart to pick up the skill sets of how to really run a business well. That's one of the reasons why in olden days, when a person has too much wealth in their chart, as shown in this particular Bazi example, they may not necessarily be successful, but actually be working for someone who's really wealthy instead. So then we look at luck cycles. If we follow the luck cycles, this person will only be going through wealth, luck, the DW and IW at the end. So does it mean this person will not get rich? Well, I don't think so. I think in today's world, so long as you understand yourself, build your skill sets, which I'll share with you a little later on how understanding yourself and then therefore making sure you have team members that will complement you will help you to become rich. The other thing is, let's look at someone who doesn't really have the wealth element within their chart. In this example, this person does not have the IW or DW in their charts at all. So does it mean this person will not be rich? And when would this person maybe think about wanting to start business? Because we have many clients who will say, are they suitable to run a business? So usually when someone who does not have wealth element within their charts, it generally means they don't think about money. It does not mean that they cannot start a business, but if they do start a business, then you need someone who are good at actually managing finances. If you're not thinking about finances or money that much, for instance, in this particular chart, then I think it's crucial that you find a teammate or a partner who's able to actually help you with it. So in this particular case, when would this person actually think about starting a business on their own? And if you were to look at this particular chart itself, in the luck cycle, okay, of 37, so you have to look at all these numbers here. This is the Chinese age of 7, 17, 27, and 37. So in this luck cycle of the 37 years old to 46, and especially in the last few years, okay, they will start thinking about wanting to start their own business. Why? If you remember, when a person goes through the influence, whether you like it or not, the influence will come to you. And between IW and DW, remember, IW is the one that is more risk-taking. Therefore, they will want to start something new. So therefore, during this age here, the person will want to start something new. And currently, because the person is in this luck cycle of 57 to 66, they may have started business in the year 2015, 2018, 2019, or 2021, which is next year. Why? Because these are the years where the earth element, which represents either the IW or DW, comes in as well. And if you remember, IW and DW are the action orientation profiles propelling this person to want to take action. Now, however, this is basically based on the potential of an individual. Two persons born on the same day, same month, same year, and same time, brought up in two separate different environments, one in entrepreneurial family and the other one is actually an employee family and instilled with the hard work mentality, they may take different decisions during these times. Therefore, given the same kind of influence, a person who's actually in a more entrepreneurial growing up environment may decide to start their own business. And another person who's actually not brought up that way, but is more in a corporate environment. This person may be more involved in new business development, starting up new projects. So therefore, when we are looking at actually the wealth luck cycle, when it comes, it's not necessarily someone has to start a business. It could be starting up something within the company, starting up something new. However, to succeed, it is not just going through the influence. If you do know that you're going to go through this luck cycle and to be successful, then you have to ensure that you pick up the skill sets to run a business well, and then get mentors to help you, or get team members. In this case, if you're running a business and you do not have the wealth structure in your chart and you are worried about collections, especially for small businesses, cash flow is crucial, then you need someone with a very strong director influence or DW within their charts, because they will be better at looking at the finances of the company, because their thoughts are about money, whereas yours is not. Now, let's look at the next kind of way to analyze what kind of entrepreneur would you be if you do decide to start a business. So to do that, I think we need to go back to the Asian personality profiling system, where you can identify your profile, especially your base profile. So you can basically scan the QR code here, or go to the Google Play Store or App Store to download the mobile app Paths by Trilogy. And this is basically how you will see your chart, the day master, the orientation you are in, as well as the JYPQ chart. So just a quick recap. The Asian personality profiling system, when understanding yourself, first, like I showed you earlier, is to see what's your day master. Your orientation of work means the way and the most suitable environment that you like to work in, as well as the JYPQ chart. Now, to understand the kind of entrepreneur that you are, besides looking at whether you are process-oriented or action-oriented, the key thing is to look at what is your base profile. Now, the base profile is the one that is within the red rectangle within your JYPQ chart. In my books, Being Happy and Successful series, is actually from the ebook, The Entrepreneur in You. In chapter 6, I talked about what is your career profile and what will be the key path based on your profile to success, and what are the key skills that you need to learn. So if you like to, you can actually get it on Amazon. I'm showing you the link in this particular video and within the video description itself, so that you can get a copy and learn. Now here, what I'm showing is basically a comparison in terms of characteristics, references that are relevant in terms of starting a business or creating something new. Here, I'm splitting it out by structures. Okay, so the wealth or action-oriented structures are the director profile and the pioneer profile. The influence or process-oriented profiles are diplomat and warrior. The people-oriented profiles or friend structure is the friend and leader. The output structure or idea generation or idea-oriented profiles are artist and performer. And the resource or analysis-oriented profiles are analyzer and philosopher. When we are looking at whether a person will start a business, we need to look at a few different characteristics. One is whether the person, do they embrace or do they like new things and keep creating new stuff in terms of innovation? Are they willing to take risks? Are they basically creative? They will look for new ways of doing things. Do they make decisions fast? Because even if you have a lot of ideas, you do not take decision, you may not necessarily want to start a business. And or do they prefer to adhere to existing rules and regulations? So if that's the case, they may not necessarily enjoy a startup kind of environment or trying to do things new every single time. So if you look at basically the profiles that actually has got high in innovation, high in risk-taking, high in creativity and decision-making, you can see that the pioneer profile tops it all. Okay, and they don't like to adhere to existing rules and regulations. The other profile that is pretty high and medium high is the leader profile. Okay, the next is actually the artist profile, as well as the performer profile and the philosopher. Whereas if you were to look at the profiles that basically do not really want to take risks, prefer to adhere to existing rules and regulations, is actually that of director, which is one of the wealth structure, the diplomat, okay, the analyzer, maybe, depending on how you look at it. But generally, the director and the diplomat are usually ones that do not take as much risk. So, does it mean that if your base profile is that of a director or a diplomat, you will not want to be a business owner? Well, it's not really the case, because sometimes circumstances may come, like in your influence cycle, that you become wanting to take more risks, wanting to start your own things. It is still okay to start the business, but it's important to remember what is your base orientation and profile. Because if you are someone who prefers more stability, then I think it's important that the kind of business you take on, or the kind of businesses that you start, has some kind of system. So for instance, these profiles on the left-hand side, the director, the diplomat, the analyzer, the friend, the leader, or the warrior, it is good to basically start businesses where there are some established systems. For instance, maybe a franchise system, or if, let's say, this particular model has been around for some time, you're able to learn and observe, be an apprentice, and understand really how the system works before you start your own business. Or you may be more comfortable being an employee, especially if money is important for you, the regular income is important for you. Now, if you are the profiles of the pioneer, artist, philosopher, and performer, the chances that you may start your own business, especially involved in new products, new business models, will be higher. Now, I'm here just suggesting that these are some of the suitable roles and suitable kinds of businesses that you can look at. It is important to remember that this is only an optic to help you understand yourself, your learning experience, your background, as well as the luck cycle that you go through would also be crucial to decide what kind of a business owner you will be. The second thing that is also important is it's not just about the base profile. You can also look at actually the profiles within the yellow quadrants as well as the purple quadrants, and you have gone through the luck cycles to improve your skill sets in those particular areas. Therefore, you may also be good in terms of running business. Now, what happens if, let's say, you started a business and you realize that you're not that great because your profile is not suited to some of the activities that are being there? Then recruit team members who will help you and assist you in bringing your business forward. And I'll share more of this in some of my upcoming videos. So if you do like this video, please remember to subscribe to Janet Yong YouTube channel, as well as share this video if you would like to. And remember to vote on the Telegram link that I'm sharing here to let me know what are some of the video topics that you'd like me to share on. The next thing I'd like to share is if you find that it's too much of a hassle to download the mobile app, to get the career profile or the JYPQ chart, we have basically the complete Bazi career profiling report here that is currently going at $49 Sing or US $36, which originally would have cost you more than $100. So you can either scan this QR code to get the link to the report, or see the link here or in the video description in the YouTube channel. Thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you in the next video.